Welcome to the second season of the Southwest Florida Strong podcast, brought to you by Conrick PR and Marketing. I'm your host, Connie Ramos Williams, and thank you for joining us today. In our first episode of the season, we will be focusing on health and wellness with two dynamic women here in Southwest Florida. Carey Ralston, CEO of Hallway Stories and America's favorite plant-based cooking show, Cooking with Carey. Also joining us will be Angie Ferguson, owner and trainer of GearedUp. She is a USA Triathlon and Ironman certified coach, triathlete, and trainer. She's competed in 27 Ironman competitions and 3 Ironman World Championships. Thank you for joining us today. I know you're going to love the show. Our first guest on our podcast is Carey Ralston. She's going to share her journey to health and her successful career. Carey, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that great intro.
You're welcome. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you are.
With the new year, we are busier than ever because this is the time that people really, for some reason, this is the time when we really take our health seriously. And after coming off 2020, I say, let's make this the healthiest year yet.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's been a heck of a 2020, and all of us are ready for something better now in 2021. And it's when we all make these New Year resolutions to start off with a better routine, healthy diet, exercise routine. So we're thrilled to have you and Angie later in the show talking about wellness and to help us kickstart everything for this year.
Absolutely. I could not agree more.
Tell us a little bit. We love that you have called yourself the Plant-Based Rachael Ray. So can you tell us a little bit about your story, how that came about, and what inspired you to use your skills in the kitchen to help others?
Yeah, I'd love to share. And if Rachael Ray is listening, I would like to say thank you. Rachael Ray was somebody in college where I felt like I really started to be very active in the kitchen. And I was watching her show, 30-Minute Meals, and just really learned so many different methods to how you can put meals together. And why actually it was one of my clients that calls me the Plant-Based Rachael Ray. So I can't take full credit, but I just loved her approach of taking easy foods and making delicious everyday meals. And I do that, but I just make them plant-based. So I love to take our favorite dishes like tacos, mac and cheese, pizza, brownies, and make swaps in some people are like, there's no way that could taste good. But I think, Connie, you can testify that sometimes having beans in your brownies can be delicious.
Absolutely. I've tasted many of your plant-based dishes, and my husband, who just cringes at the thought of plant-based, I've cooked for him a few of those recipes. He had no idea they were plant-based. Absolutely love them.
Yay, go Rick. No, I love to hear that. And that's why being called the Plant-Based Rachael Ray, I think is such an honor, because I really pride myself on easy food, affordable food, and approachable, meaning you're going to know what you're eating. You're not going to get a dish and say, what is that? I want you to eat my food and feel empowered that you can make it in your kitchen as well.
Excellent. And there's probably many of your guests too that aren't necessarily plant-based. I mean, they may incorporate meat or fish into their diet. Some of those recipes that you have can easily be adapted for those that want a little bit of meat or a little fish in their diet and may not be ready to go 100% plant-based, correct?
Absolutely. I think there's sometimes some confusion around plant-based and vegan. And vegan is more of a lifestyle and a diet that is absolutely no animal products. And plant-based, and actually what I call plant-powered, I just really encourage people to eat as many real foods that are as whole as possible, meaning they're not processed, and as many vegetables as possible. So opposed to having a dish where maybe you used to have like 80% be animal protein, I show you how you can make it more 80% vegetables with 20% of the protein of your choice, whether that's beans, lentils, fish, meat, but just trying to get more of those real foods and high fiber foods in our diets.
I love it.
Yeah.
And as you know, with health issues that a lot of us come upon every now and then, I'm one of those people that have lived it, where I understand that food itself can be a healing mechanism for you. So if you've got high blood pressure, any of our guests out there with high blood pressure, cholesterol, any of those type of things, obviously, follow what your doctors tell you to do. But I can tell you, just like Carey can too, that you can eat yourself healthy. If you take a look at a lot of the foods that are out there, there are certain foods that are medicinal for different health things. So if you're eating the right foods, you can totally change your cellular structure and help to make yourself healthier and heal some of the things that your body goes through. So I love a
I'm
lot of
right.
the recipes that you throw out there, because it really does encourage that plant-based, health-based type of eating.
Yeah, and I just wrote down "eat yourself healthy." I
Yes.
loved I love that phrase. I might create a hashtag out of that. And to echo that, Connie, not only can a plant-powered diet help with so many things like you had mentioned, but when I started my journey, I was struggling with something that a lot of us don't talk about because you can't see it on the outside, but I was struggling with depression and anxiety, which were like the worst of both worlds. I was nervous about everything, but yet I didn't want to get up to do anything about it. And so by changing the way I ate, I noticed a massive reduction in my anxiety and an increase in energy where I literally could not lay in bed anymore because I had to move. I was so energized. So it can really help in that area. So if you struggle with anxiety and depression, I can definitely relate, and I have great tips on how we can start getting you feeling better as soon as within one meal.
That's incredible. I'm sorry that you went through all of that. Do you attribute the plant-based eating or the excitement and purpose for living, because now you had this whole idea of and purpose to do plant-based eating and recipes and cooking? Do you think it could be a combination of both that helped to get you in a healthier state of mind?
I definitely think it's a combination of both of those things. Cooking for me is where I create, and we all have our things in life that we love. Whether we write, we sing, we paint, we create marketing campaigns, and creating recipes that don't taste healthy is like my thing. And so once I could start doing that, all I wanted to do was share with literally anybody that would try it. And I didn't have a lot of friends down here. But I was going to neighbors and any family that would come over. I'm like, you just got to try this. What do you think? And so I really did find my love, which led me to actually being able to cook in a volunteer kitchen for a while, where I just felt like I was in my element. I loved teaching people how to cook easy recipes that not only will make you feel better physically, but will make you feel better mentally.
And we know that maybe you didn't know too many people when you first came to Southwest Florida, but we know you know everyone
Everybody.
now. And everyone absolutely loves you because you're just this positive force, beautiful inside as you are in the outside, and just so much to share. We all want to better ourselves. So a lot of the things that you share help us all be better people inside and out, from the healthy diet to the mental health that with all of these things that you share with us. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I mean, coming off 2020, I'm just I'm trying to do as much as I can to get out there to let people know they don't need to be alone. Mental health skyrocketed during COVID, and we're still feeling the effects of it. And it's okay to not be okay, but talk to somebody about it. You don't have to go through this journey alone, which is really what Hallway Stories is all about. I love to say I help end loneliness one hallway at a time, because in the hallways is where we can come together and share our stories of pain and struggle, but then you can hear stories of healing that will allow you to just not feel alone in that place. Because I don't know about you, but feeling alone in your own journey when everything feels confusing is just a horrible, debilitating feeling. And so if anybody out there that is struggling with anxiety and depression, please feel free to reach out. If I can be a resource or share any of my resources with you, I am happy to. Just don't go at it alone.
You mentioned hallway stories, and I think that, I mean, you started that business and career path before you even started cooking with Carey. Can you tell our readers and our audience and everybody watching today, can you tell them how, what hallway stories is? I mean, it sounds like, it's a great resource and everything else too, but they may not know that it's online, and how they can take part in that. Would you share a little bit more detail about that?
Absolutely. So Hallway Stories, I like to say, is a safe place where we can come together and heal. But I open different hallways that are all things that can help you increase your physical and your mental health. So I would say my most active hallway of 2020 was the plant-powered hallway, whereas I keep all kinds. I have over 100 easy recipes and cooking videos, as well as recipe guides, shopping guides, everything you would need to start and sustain a plant-powered lifestyles in there. But in 2021, you'll be noticing that we're opening so many more hallways as it pertains to physical movement, meditation, how you can find your purpose. So some people call like courses, but I just call them hallways, because I love to create spaces where we can all come together and heal and live our best lives.
So online is where this is, and people can go to the website and select the hallway that they'd like to go to, whether they're looking for inspiration because of anxiety or mental health concerns, physical concerns, maybe dietary. There's different hallways for everyone to participate and connect and share, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And my biggest one, I would say right now, where we're seeing the most action, because it is January and it is the new year, with the plant-powered hallway, we do a cookbook every month, a recipe book, and then we do a live in-person, or I shouldn't say in-person anymore, virtual. I'm so used to Zoom being like the new in-person, but we do a live cooking series where you can actually make the recipes and ask questions as we go. They're a ton of fun, but it's just a way for you to not only introduce new recipes into you and your family's diet, but it's a way for you to ask questions so you feel empowered in your kitchen so you can continue to make these recipes. Because one of the craziest facts that I tell my clients is we eat pretty much the same 7 to 10 meals like for years, and we just kind of rotate them. We might throw in a new flavor. But if I could show you 2 to 3 meals a month, just think of how many healthy alternatives you can be adding into your everyday favorite dishes.
I love it, because you're right. I think by human nature, we tend to get in a rut with, here's our grocery list, here's our meals, spaghetti night on this night, this night, is some taco night, and here's what our menu looks like, and you get in that kind of routine and forget that you can deviate a little bit just by adding different recipes, few different ingredients in there. Totally can change up the flavor and presentation, and change things up. Keep it exciting. Keep your mealtime exciting.
And you'll get those like vegetables in there, and you really won't even know they're in there, because you'll still feel like you're eating spaghetti or pizza or tacos, or any of really your favorite dishes. One of our favorites is Asian stir fries and Thai food. So I have recipes for all of it, where you will not, after you eat the dish, you'll feel good too. You won't feel like, I need to go take a nap, or I'm tired. And you'll be excited to put your pants on in the morning. I will say
that's always good.
When you eat more vegetables, you're not afraid to put on your pants that have buttons. That used to be a real fear of mine.
Yeah, I guess I think we have all related to that at one point or another over our lifetime. One of the times I attended one of your cooking classes, people that look to transition to a vegan or plant-based diet, one of their first thoughts is, I need my protein. How do I get my protein? Can you share just 1 or 2 tips of how people can switch different ingredients so that they get their protein without having to add meat?
Absolutely. Before I transitioned, I thought the word protein only meant meat. Like, I didn't realize that there was protein in all kinds of foods. And when you think about some of our larger animals, even like cows, they actually eat, well, grass-fed cows, they eat a plant-based diet. They eat corn, or not corn, I'm sorry, they eat grass. And so they're in our dark green leafy vegetables. So your collard greens, your kale, as well as broccoli, those all are loaded with protein. But the difference you're going to have with a vegetable like that is they're nutrient dense. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. And they're more affordable than, say, like a big piece of steak. But another great place for protein is beans. In America, we are just not known for eating a lot of beans at all. They're not in a lot of our favorite dishes. And that's why I love to put beans in areas where you don't know they are, but they're so good for you. They're high in protein, high in fiber, low in fat, and oh my gosh, are they affordable? I mean, you can get even the best organic beans for under $1 at most stores. So those are the two best ways. I have never, since I started this journey, been protein deficient at all. I work with clients that are like bodybuilders and are in the gym all the time, and they actually claim that they have more muscle mass now that they're not relying on animal proteins than before, and they just feel better and their skin looks better. Your skin, once you start eating more vegetables, will shine, and so will your hair. It's just, and you'll have to cut your nails all the time because they'll grow really fast. But yes, vegetables are loaded with proteins, and of course beans.
Well, thanks for sharing that, because I know that is one of those, I've heard a couple people, concerned about that. And I said,
Absolutely.
no, just talk to Carey. She'll set you straight on that. You were featured in a book called The No. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's actually, oh, am I pointing to it? I think it's over my shoulder up here.
Okay, I think I see it up at the top shelf there.
So The No is a national, actually it's international because it's in Canada as well, publication that features women that you should know, like, and trust, that are heart-centered entrepreneurs. And I believe they're in about 20 cities across America. And a good friend of ours, Erica Kastner, actually brought The No to Fort Myers, which is amazing. It's an amazing honor to be here. And I believe there's about 78 women in this first edition of the No book that are featured. Incredible women that are doing truly amazing work in a variety of fields. And I was honored enough to be nominated to be one of those females in the health and wellness space. But if you haven't checked it out, you can go to I believe it's like the No Women Fort Myers, and you can see the digital copy, but there are, the actual books are all around Southwest Florida. I know down at like the Luminary Hotel, or Bradley Jewelers, some of the Lee Health properties. I know they're still trying to roll them out because COVID prevented a lot of, magazines.
Distribution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great publication, and more importantly, it is a great group of women. So if you want to know more, definitely message me, and I can get you connected with the local No ambassador to see how you could get involved.
Thank you, and congratulations to you. I mean, what an honor to be nominated for that and to be featured too. Well, very well deserved.
Thank you.
Can you tell our audience how to best connect with you if they want more tips, to sign up for a cooking class, or go into one of your hallway stories? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Go to CareyRalston.com. That is my main page that will lead you to my cooking classes, lead you to hallway stories. You can even go on there, and I have a free shopping guide that you can get today, just so you can start seeing things that you can buy and swaps you can start making. Absolutely free, right on my website. And then, of course, on Facebook. I think I'm at the max for friend requests, unless Facebook will keep increasing that.
I'm not surprised.
But you can find
not surprised.
So there's no offense there. But at Carey Ralston, you can find me on Facebook, and in the Plant Powered Hallway. I am always there, posting recipes, working with different people and questions that they have. And that's a private group I run that has a little over, I think, 700 people now. So it's a great place, but my website for sure, and everything is going to lead to me. So you can message me there, or I'm happy, just email me, Carey@hallwaystories.com, because I'm definitely here to help you get 2021, allow that to be the healthiest you that you've ever been.
Carey, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that the folks tuning in today got an earful. I'm sure people were taking notes on some of your tips and advice, and no doubt will be reaching out to you if they have any further questions. So thanks again for joining us today on the Southwest Florida Strong podcast.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you guys in the hallway.
Now joining us on the Southwest Florida Strong podcast is the owner and trainer of GearedUp Multi-Sport Specials. She's a USA Triathlon Advanced Level 2 Ironman certified coach, triathlete, and trainer. She has completed 27 Ironman and 3 Ironman World Championships. Introducing Angie Ferguson. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here, Connie. Thanks for asking.
Well, I get to see you in all your glory because I see that you're in the news press. You're always sharing some great personal fitness training and wellness tips to everyone in the news press. So thank you for doing that.
It's my pleasure.
And we're glad to have you on today's episode, especially as we're entering a new year with health and wellness top of mind. Can you start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself and your company, GearedUp?
Sure. So by trade, by education, I've got my master's in exercise physiology and human performance. And I thought, when I went to school, I thought, I want to be a therapist and I want to work in the hospital all the time, until I did it. And I realized I didn't. And I really enjoy working with athletes and working with the general public and helping people achieve things they never thought was possible. So, trying to think how long ago it was. It doesn't matter. Long time ago, I formed GearedUp, which is a health and wellness multi-sport coaching company. And we work with athletes. I think my youngest athlete's 6. And I had a gal yesterday who's 86.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not just triathletes. We really cover the spectrum of athletes, whether I've got tennis players, I've got some people that are on a master's golf circuit. I've got swimmers, like kids. I've got people who just run, people who never run, people who walk, people who don't want to walk. All they want is yoga or stretch or whatever their specific need is. So it's really widespread.
You sound like a very busy lady with clients that range in age that much and also ability. You must be very busy and just running and going from morning to night.
It is. As I was saying right before we got on, I left the house this morning at 3:50, and I've already had a couple of, I think I've seen about 15 athletes so far this morning. Done a couple of workouts. Yeah, I know.
Well, and especially now with the start of a new year, many people are focused again on their health and their well-being, fitness. What advice can you share with our audience if they're trying to get started with any kind of training?
I would tell people the most important factor is to figure out why you want to do something, right? Everybody sets these grandeur goals the first of the year, and they say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And as soon as it gets a little uncomfortable or they feel uncertain about what's happening, they stop. I would invite everybody to really think about their why, their purpose, because if you have enough reasons why you want to achieve something, it becomes much easier. The how is easy. We know what we have to, but if we know why we want to do it, that's what really keeps us engaged when we're sore or the alarm goes off and we don't want to get up, or we don't want to go to the gym after work, or whatever the story is, whatever the obstacle is there that is going to try to derail us. So if we really know what our purpose is, we have to remember 80% of everything is psychology, 20% is mechanics.
That's good advice, because I know, and so many of us start off a new year, with really ambitious about what we're going to do and everything, and then we fall flat. Sometimes it's just a week or two into it. Others may fall flat just a month or two into it. And I know, honestly, that's one of my biggest fears when I think about it, because I know I want to do it, but at the same time, I know that sometimes because of scheduling and everything else too, it's just, there's so many excuses. Sounds like if they're working out with you and they're training with you, you will help to keep their mental focus on track so they don't fall flat. Is that accurate?
That is 100% accurate. in addition to the previous accolades that you so kindly shared, I also am a platinum performance and results coach with Tony Robbins. So yes, and that is another great passion that I added into my career about halfway through, because I saw such a huge disconnect between the physical performance and what we're capable of. What people are capable of and what they will do are two different things. And I saw such a huge disconnect. So I really had to really fine tune the skill and hone in to be able to helping athletes, helping soccer moms, helping senior citizens, helping children, helping anybody to really excel and be the best they can. And so much of that comes into the mental side of training. Absolutely.
That's phenomenal. And it's good to know. It makes me think, there is hope. I can get over that barrier. And I know a lot, I'm not alone in that. There's so many people. I mean, that's a commonality. So having that personal coaching background, as well as a training, it sounds like it would be advantageous to any one of us to get over those mental roadblocks and everything. If I wanted to start, and anyone in our audience wanted to start, what's the first thing they should do? How do they get started with some sort of training?
I highly recommend writing down your goal. Write it out on paper, because when we think about it, it's just a wish. But when we actually put a pen to paper, in human psychology, we say when we write it, we invite it. So we write something down, we're training our nervous system that we really want to do. So identify what your goal is, but then write it down and post it somewhere. Because if you can see a target, you're much more likely to hit it. So we're going to start small. Think about what your ultimate goal is. For instance, if you wanted to run a marathon, but you've only done a 5K, maybe our first steps are going to be to hire a personal trainer, join a running group, perhaps look for some smaller races along the way, smaller goals, breaking down that big goal into smaller goals, having it clearly defined. And again, have your why it is so important, because everybody wants to do stuff. Like you said, everybody wants to do things. And nobody says, man, when I grow up, I can't wait to, be carrying extra weight and be out of shape. That's not something people aspire to do.
No.
But such a disconnect there. So if we really understand why it's important and why we want it, and we can see it all the time, we're much more likely to achieve it.
I love it. And I can sense that coach in you, as you say, know your why, because that's, even in business, that's one of the things we talk about quite often, is to know your why before you go after something and put your plan in place. So
when you know your why, is it that much easier for you to follow through and do it?
Absolutely.
There she is.
You just have to have that clear point that you're going toward, and know that you keep advancing to get toward it. So, I see that absolutely working in a training program with you or anyone out there, but having someone like you that keeps the feet to the fire and keeps putting that why back in front of you to remind you of why you're doing this hard work and putting that effort in. Definitely. And I think health and wellness, honestly, should be looked at that way. So many times, especially if we're in business or we're buried, maybe we're not even a business mom or dad, but just running a household with kids and things like that too. You think you can't make it work. You think, maybe you even feel guilty focusing and thinking about yourself and how you can help yourself. And really, we got to erase that negativity from our mind, because really we're only good to our businesses and our families if we are taking care of our own personal health and wellness. And it sounds like the trainings that you're doing, like you said, you've got 8-year-olds and 86-year-olds, just getting going on doing something to keep your body and your mind active every day, not necessarily on work and home. Sounds like it'll keep us all young and healthy.
Absolutely. And remember, we don't have to do everything. I use the example of a marathon. You don't have to run a marathon. You don't ever have to even run a step. All we have to do is work to be 1% better every day.
I like that. Baby steps. If someone did want to, or aspire, maybe they set a goal this year of competing in a triathlon. What advice can you give them?
If somebody did want to take on the sport of triathlon, which is the swimming, the biking, and running, I would highly recommend that they at least get an evaluation first. And I say that because we have a lot of people say, oh, I can swim, and then they get in the pool and they try to swim to one end of the pool and they're exhausted because their form, their technique is not quite like it was when they swam across the pool when they were 8 years old. They don't remember, it's not just playing in the water. And a lot of people get discouraged and they stop right away because, as you mentioned, they have these stories that we tell ourselves that I'm too busy, I'm not good enough, whatever the reason is. So have an evaluation with a professional. Have somebody look at your swim stroke. Have somebody look at your run gait. You know, if maybe you have something in your hips that's tight, or you have a muscular imbalance that would cause aggravation or injury later. And if we can look at it early on and identify any potential problems and address them before they happen, you're going to be that much more successful.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. I wouldn't even have thought about that, but that's
and
great
have
advice.
A professional bike fit too. A professional bike fit makes all the difference, because if you're uncomfortable on your bike, and I'll just say that everybody feels good for the first 5 miles, then after that, there's some questions going on if you're not comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you lose power in every pedal stroke.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Would you say when you're training individuals, what is the area you feel people need the most work with? Is it the swimming?
I think it's the psychology, but yes, it's swimming.
Okay, yeah. Psychology of it, but yes, because you know, I've talked to quite a few, and several of my friends actually have worked and trained with you, and they complement your style and your coaching so much. I mean, they have done amazing work out there, and I see them competing and beating their personal goals every time they go out for these triathlons too. So kudos to you for the great work that you're doing. I know that they keep putting the bug in my ear, and I go, I don't think I'll do triathlons quite yet, but I might start those little baby steps.
I invite you to take the might out of your vocabulary.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
I invite you to do that. Yes.
Okay. I will work on the why, as I encourage every one of our viewers to do. As we approach 2021 and we're in 2021, look at this, whole year as how can we be healthy all the way around, not just mentally, physically, in our business, also in our personal life. What can we do? Put your why down. What do you want to accomplish? And if any of our listeners would like to reach out to you, Angie, what's the best way for them to reach you?
They can reach me either on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Angie, or GearedUp.biz. I have a blog on that site as well, and they can contact me through there.
Perfect. Anything else you want to add or tell our listeners before we sign off for the day?
I just want to encourage everybody to have a fantastic 2021. Be their absolute best versions of themselves possible. Remember, they don't have to do it all. They just have to keep moving and make 1% improvement every day. And as you said, if we want to be the best as spouses, as business owners, it starts in here first.
You are amazing, Angie, and I thank you for joining us today. You are a perfect example of what makes Southwest Florida strong. So keep up the great work. I'm sure I will be reaching out to you at some point. Like you said, I'm not going to say maybe, I won't say might. I'm sure that I will. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks to our guest speakers for joining us today. That concludes this health and wellness episode of Southwest Florida Strong Podcast. Our goal is to connect you with businesses, nonprofits, and individuals in our community that are part of Southwest Florida's unique DNA and make Southwest Florida one of the most desired destinations to live, work, and play. For more information about our podcast, to be a guest, or view past episodes, please visit us online at conrickpr.com or our Southwest Florida Strong Facebook group page. Until next time, stay Southwest Florida Strong.